What's going on, people? I'm going to start this thing with the same thing I finished the last video with. If you happen to know of any Brooks slides that you would suggest, please let me know, because when I'm inside I don't wear shoes, right? That's just kind of how I am. I think that's nasty. Nothing against how you live your life. I just live mine in a slide sort of life when I'm indoors, right? So since I have a handful of Brooks things now, shirts, pants, whatever, if I'm wearing Brooks clothes, I would like to wear Brooks slides. So that's just why I ask. In case you're curious what I'm wearing right now, this is the New Balance Fresh Foam Martian Slide something or other. I don't remember the name of it exactly. But whatever, let's move on. Side of the box and whatnot, right? That's what we're here to talk about, so we're going to go ahead and talk about that, not my quest for slides and such. Man, this is a whole lot of shoe, right? It's a whole lot of shoe. Alright, let's do this. This right here, this is the Brooks Glycerin Max 2 in the London Fog colorway. I don't remember if there's a 2 in that or not. I said Glycerin Max 2, but I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. One quick thing that's very much unrelated before we get into things. I said London Fog, I was thinking about London yesterday because I was wearing this Tegan and Sarah shirt. London is the actual only place I've seen them perform. They're one of my favorite bands, but it's just, in all the years that I've known them, which is about a little over 10 now, yeah, just only the one time. Unfortunate, but whatever. Let's talk about this here. Oh, I guess we'll start with the bottom. Yeah. Down there, across the bottom, what are you looking at down there? Well, not much, right? It doesn't look great. I like the colors, but oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot of shoe, right? Very wide, very wide. But otherwise, we're gonna move on past that because on the bottom there's not a whole lot to really see. And even when you look at the midsole here, yeah, also really not a lot. Just big white Brooks DNA tuned, right? A little bit of the branding and whatnot. But the thing is, behind there is actually some stuff going on. So we'll talk about that real quick here. So this is like a dual sort of foam thing going on down in here, right? As far as the nitrogen infused and whatever. So first off about that, the nitrogen thing, they take the foam, they inject it with the nitrogen and stuff, and then it becomes better than it was previously, right? Lighter, bouncier, more responsive. All the normal things, just the normal improvements, right? But the thing about the whole dual foam thing that's going on here is that because of whatever technology, they're able to keep it separate, but still seeming like it's one big foam, right? Whereas if you look at those Magic Speeds I had the other day, there's two distinct layers. This, in the back end, the foam that they're going with is going to be, it's going to be like bigger cells, right? Which is basically to give you more heel impact absorption. Whereas in the front, they're going to be smaller, so that way you kind of have the more responsive piece for the toe off thing, right? So when you roll through and you push off with the front of your foot, your forefoot, it kind of responds better to that and just kind of helps you spring out of it, right? So that's what's going on here. And overall, though, you probably noticed the whole rocker style thing. They call that the glide roll in this particular case, right? So that's what's going on down there. Not a whole lot to really see, but it's something to know, right? As far as the interior goes, very much the same, very bland. This time they just have the one little logo down on the middle. So there's that for you. All right, let's go ahead and get you some other shots here. So these other shots, I should say, if you want to speak grammatically correct, not a whole lot going on. You can see that, right? It's a lot of brown type of, well, it's also Falcon and green are the other colors they touted on the website. But yeah, there's not a lot going on here other than just, again, it being a whole lot of shoe. So not a whole lot to take away from those things. I just slipped them in there because it's a habit at this point. Either way, so the mesh that you have on here, it is a little bit thicker than you're going to see on at least a lot of the stuff that I'm used to, because a lot of the things that I'm used to are made to be lighter and just faster, and that usually comes with thinner meshes and whatnot. So this one, they didn't do that because it's not really made for that. You may have noticed on the side of the box it said running and walking, right? Yeah, Moving on past that. Middle area here, you got this big old Brooks, whatever that thing is called. And I don't know if you can really tell unless you catch from the right angles, but that is a thick logo on there. But yeah, that's pretty much all there really is to talk about for the most part here. I mean, you got a little bit of 3M on the back sides, right? You got those where those dots are, so that's nice. The laces are kind of thick and kind of cool, right? I like the looks of them. It's just, I don't know, I just like it. As far as the tongue goes, one thing I'll add on here real quick while I'm thinking about it, because I might forget later. The tongue, it is kind of one of those thicker ones, like I was talking about in a review I recorded a while ago, but you won't see for a while. It was some kind of, I think it was like the Supernova Rise, right? Where like, it's kind of a thicker, plusher sort of tongue, right? But the thing I noticed about it was kind of like, because the top was feeling a little stiff out of the box, kind of pushes into your ankle a little bit when you're walking around initially. It dies down over time, sure, but just know that going into it. Otherwise, it's going to be like your standard stuff, you know, thick, plush, lots of mesh on there, a little bit of branding. This time not really strapped down or anything, because again, this isn't like a performance type shoe. You can run in it, sure, you can walk in it. So it's kind of fitting that middle ground, right? So it doesn't have all like the run-tuned builds to it, right? Let's see what's going on the inside of here, right? It'll just completely untie that almost. Brooks. Yep, just like the last one. So that's what's going on in there. And much like I said on the previous one, you do also have, on the back end, you do also have like a very soft sock liner. And then past that, you do have that part where you can just kind of slip on in there because it's kind of got this little slide sort of thing at the back, at the top. So that's the thing that I like, because I'm not a huge fan of tying shoes. So yeah, that's just a selling point to me. I don't know, it's the little things, you know, they really matter sometimes. But otherwise, yeah, that's all that's really going on here, right? So real quick, before I go into the personal thoughts, I'll hit you with some of those specs and whatnot, like I brought up on these over here. So these right here, right? This, as you see, it's large, right? These sit fairly high. They got about a 45 millimeter height in the back, right? Which puts them at about like 39 in the front, because it is a 6 millimeter drop from the back to the front. I bring that up because it's a thing some people care about, right? These, same thing, that they have a 6 millimeter drop as well. It's just that they sit a little lower, right? Overall than these do. So that's what's going on there. And as far as weight goes, these are also going to be obviously heavier, so about 10.5 ounces, whereas this one was just over 9. They said like 9.1 for those, right? So again, not really the thing you're going to want to wear for racing performance, but it seems like it will come in handy, much like the Nimbus did for like those longer or just slower type things, or if you just want a lot of cushion, you know what I mean? So there's that. Do whatever you want to with that information. I'm going to talk about my personal thoughts and then talk about some sizing. Personally, right? These right here, it's a lot to take in, man. Like, they seem promising, right? As far as like how they're built and all that good stuff. I feel like this is going to work out very well for what it is, but it's a look that I'm still kind of having doubts about, right? Well, not doubts as far as like functionality, but doubts as far as like, how am I going to look in this thing, right? Do I really want to wear this? But more on that later. But I will say this, right? For what it's made to do, it kind of reminds me, like I said, of like the Nimbus, in that it's got like it's not as thin as far as like the upper goes. It's got like the thick midsole and all that good stuff. But I can see how this could be good for running, right? Again, not maybe like the sprinting or going out to like really make your best times competitively overall, but it looks like it should do okay. I just wish that maybe like the color selection was a little bit better. I did see a color I liked today, but it just came out like recently, and I've had these for a couple weeks at this point, so it wasn't an option then. But we'll see how they work out. You know, if anything, it'll be a good thing to have for days like today, when I'm supposed to do like a recovery run at like a 9 something pace for like 30 minutes or whatever. I think that's what the Garmin thing said. So times like that are where like stuff like this comes in handy. When I'm out there trying to go out and just do, okay, I want to do 7:30 for like 4 miles or something. This is not the one I'm going to, right? Maybe this guy, not this one. So you get the different things for different times. At least that's how I'm living, right? Anyway, so let's move on. We'll hit the sizing, and then that's it. Yeah. Sizing wise, right? I bought these in a 9.5. It's working out quite well. I've got no complaints. The one thing I'll say first though is like there's just enough extra room in these, like front wise and side wise, that if 9.5 wasn't available, I'm not sure what size I'd go with, honestly. Sometimes it's a clear cut, like that you'll go up or you'll go down. This one, I don't know. But either way, sizing wise is working out pretty all right. It's kind of a thicker sort of mesh in the upper, but at the same time it's also looser in that it doesn't hug your foot like the other shoes I was talking about today. So I think it'll work out fine for a lot of people, honestly. But this one, it's out there. It's not as in many colors or whatever, but given like the amounts of reviews and how it went over with like the general public, I feel like it'll be an easy one to find if you want to try it on and like see how you really feel or whatever. Now, walking around in these, for one, you do feel that 45 millimeter height. Like it's, for me, like being a shorter guy, yeah, you definitely notice that extra bit in there, so that's something. But they were really comfortable, right? Like I compared them to the Nimbus a couple times in this conversation because, you know, it's got that thick midsole, but these definitely feel way better. Now there is a $30 price jump. These are $200. A Nimbus is about $165, $170. So there is a price jump there, sure. I'm just saying like one versus one, not looking at it as a what's your better buy, right? Just one thing versus one thing. So this right here, so far, like the cushion under here, it's feeling pretty good. It's feeling like I could see how this will be a decent running shoe. Again, not for like actual performance running. Like I'm not going to go out there and hit any new PRs. And these, I don't think it'd be impressive if I did, I guess. But that's not what they're made for. Like the box said, running and walking. They give you a whole bunch of cushion down there, which does give you a little bit of extra weight, right? Again, 10.5 ounces, that's no slouch, people. So it's something you'll probably notice. But all in all, I'm feeling pretty good, like I said about these. Even though they're coming in for like a different reason, I'm feeling like these are going to work out for what I bought them for, just like these should work out for what I bought them for, right? So there's that. Also, the video's over, you can pretty much leave at this point. I will throw this one last thing in there before I leave. Somebody asked the other day like what I would suggest as a running shoe for starting out. To me, if you're starting out, you're not sure if you're going to stick with it, so I would say don't think too much about it. If you have a brand that you prefer, everybody's making some good running shoes. Find something from them that looks good, is within your price range, and has some colors that you like to wear. Buy that one. Go out, do your runs. If you stick with it, fantastic. You'll notice over time how you feel about those things. Like, oh, these feel heavy. I wonder if there's something lighter. Oh, these feel like there's too little cushion. I wonder if there's something with more. You'll figure out what you like, what you don't like about those. And then when you go from there, you can say, okay, well, what's going to be better than the Ultra Boost 23 or something? And then that's going to be your preference from there, because everybody has their own. So that's why I don't really say anything for anybody specifically. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm done talking for today. Yay me. Later, people.